The number one line that I hear from students at the middle school level is, it's not fair. It's not fair. Things come up and we're not happy with the way we are treated. And we say to ourselves and we say to the people around us, it's not fair. I want to share with you boys why I think this is a common problem for kids your age, and what can you do to gain more control over your life to make sure that things become a little bit more fair. When I hear the words, it's not fair, I hear, I'm confused. When students start off at a very young age, so they're at the early childhood level, they're at the elementary school level, they're constantly being told what to do and how to do it. Everything from what you're going to wear that day, to where you're going to be that day, to who you're going to be with. You were told what to do and you listened. And now you're getting older, you're in middle school, and you're starting to realize that you really have more control over your life. You're starting to take ownership over what you wear, over who you hang out with, over your interests. But that's just a portion of what you get to control, and we still have to deal with the fact that there are things that are just out of our control. And it frustrates us, and we're looking for answers as to why we don't have the control we want. When I was younger, I had a very tough life. My parents were divorced at a very young age. We didn't have a lot of money in the house. I couldn't afford to have certain luxuries that my friends had. I grew up really resenting the life that I was living. I wanted to have the lives of others that were around me. And it bothered me that I didn't understand, why is it that I have to experience what I'm going through? It's not fair. Years later, when I was privileged enough to gain the responsibility to work with children here at Barkai and with other organizations as well, I started to realize how important every piece of my past went into my current profession. If I had to take back everything that I did and I went through, and I could do it all over again in a much better way, I would tell you time and time again, no thank you. Everything that went on in my life was exactly what I needed to be programmed to do what I do today, to make sure that you, sitting in this room, never ever have to suffer the way I did when I was your age. So I'm thankful for what I went through, and I understand now what I couldn't when I was younger. Which leads me to my next point. The next thing that I hear when kids tell me it's not fair, I hear, it's not my fault. It's not fair that the teacher decided to give me this assignment. He wasn't supposed to do it. It's on him that now I'm suffering. It's not fair that my parent punished me for something that my friends didn't get punished for. It's not fair that they're making me feel uncomfortable right now and I have to go through a punishment. When we play sports, there are rules. And the rules are ultimately governed by the referees. When I was growing up, the questions that I used to scream out of anger to the referees were things like, do you not know the rules of this game? Are you blind? Can you not see? Why are you even here? Are you even helping anything that's going on right now? And it drove me crazy. I was so frustrated because it wasn't fair. But then I got older and I started to learn a little bit more about what really goes on with referees. And it wasn't until I started reffing in my own leagues till I gained the perspective that all referees are different. They all process information differently. They understand things in a different capacity. and they're going to call the rules differently than others. So sometimes in baseball, an umpire may have a large strike zone, and sometimes they may have a smaller one. Sometimes in football, a referee may call a penalty for the smallest little thing, or sometimes they'll allow somebody to pulverize another kid on the field. The question is not, how come the people around me don't know the rules? The question we need to ask ourselves is, what do I need to know differently about the way the people in my life are calling the shots, the way they make the rules, so that I can understand how to play within their framework. So for a teacher, I need to know, does he allow me to do these types of things, or does he not allow me to do these types of things? And if we can start to understand that A, I'm never going to really get the full picture until I get a little bit older and I finally start to unravel all of the things that went into my upbringing, and B, that it's not about the rules of the game as much as it is about how do the adults in my life call the rules of the game. If I can get those two things on lockdown and I can understand them and I can grasp them, life will become more fair, because you'll start to realize that you can control the process more so than you could have before. So I challenge you all to take on these two initiatives and to start thinking about how you can change the way you play the game based on the way others around you call it for you. Shabbat Shalom.